Hello and welcome to Leadership Spotlight, where we talk with today's most impactful ethical leaders. Leading with Integrity, a compassionate response to ethical failures at HBS, dives into public ethics challenge involving Harmony behavioral support for school-aged children. The story has sparked widespread public debate. Here to speak with us about what happened and what comes next is Director of Student Support Programs, Jaidie Lim. Welcome, Jaidie. Tell us about your role at Harmony Behavioral Services and your leadership ethics.
Thank you for having me. As Director of Student Support Programs at Harmony Behavioral Services, or HBS, I lead a team of instructional aides and behavioral support specialists who work in partnership with public schools. Our organization offers behavioral support rooted in applied behavioral science, and our mission is to support student academic and emotional growth. As the leader, I strive to act with integrity, empathy, and respect. My ethical leadership centers on collaboration, moral courage, and building inclusive relationships. I believe every voice deserves to be heard, and that ethical leadership must be modeled daily through transparency and care.
Media coverage of a major scandal is tarnishing your organization's reputation. Tell us what happened.
Unfortunately, we discovered that a small group of employees violated our professional ethics code by falsifying data on student behavior report. These reports are essential for determining interventions and funding, so their action directly impacted students and compromised trust with school districts. Internally, many staff felt betrayed, while externally, our reputation took a serious hit. As the leader, I know this breach must be addressed swiftly, not just to rebuild trust, but to rebuild our ethical foundation.
This is scandalous. As a director of student support programs, what leadership theory or theories do you rely on to improve the ethical behavior of your organization's leader and followers?
Thank you for the questions. In this situation, I rely heavily on authentic leadership theories and transformational leadership principles. Authentic leadership emphasizes transparency, self awareness, and internalized moral perspective, essential during a trust crisis. I've also adopted elements of transformational leadership by inspiring ethical behavior and encouraging personal responsibility across all levels of the organization. These approaches promote ethical action not by fear, but by modeling values and encouraging reflection.
At times like these, organizations need leaders who are authentic and inclusive. How do you demonstrate authenticity and inclusivity as a leader, and why are these characteristics important for your specific organization?
Authenticity means owning our mistakes and communicating openly with our stakeholders. Inclusivity means involving every voice, from instructional aides to partner school, in how we move forward. At HBS, we serve highly diverse community, so inclusive leadership is not optional, it's essential. I practice this by encouraging multilingual communication, holding open forums, and ensuring equity is a core part of every decision. Expert explained, inclusive leader foster innovation and resilience, which we need now more than ever.
Every organization contains small groups or cliques. What is your plan for avoiding the moral pitfalls of small groups?
Small groups can be helpful, but they also risk groupthink, misplaced loyalties, and scapegoating. To avoid these pitfalls, we've implemented team rotation and cross training so that employees don't become siloed. We have also introduced peer accountability protocols and ethics reflection sections. These strategies help individuals stay responsible for their action and prevent unspoken norms from taking hold.
I read that you're leading an Ethics of Care initiative. Tell us about that.
Yes, our initiative called HEARTS at HBS, which stands for Helping Empower Advocacy, Respect, Trust, and Support. It focuses on psychological safety, inclusive communication, and supporting the emotional well being of both staff and students. For example, after the ethic breach, one of our team leads voluntarily organized mindfulness section to help employee manage stress. That's the kind of action Hearts at HBS is all about. Care that shows up in everyday behavior.
All of that sounds great. Now tell us, what specific actions are you taking to solve the current problem, and what are you doing to prevent anything like this from happening again?
We are taking a two-part approach. First, we are conducting an internal ethics audit with help from an external consultant. Second, we are revising our training to include case studies and mindfulness practices so staff understand both rules and the value behind them. As research shows, micromanagement leads to disengagement. Instead, we are focusing on trust, reflection, and feedback so employees feel empowered, not just supervised.
Thank you for joining us today. What concluding comments do you have for us?
I want our community to know that we are committed to growth, not just damage control. This moment is difficult, but it's also a chance to become a stronger, more ethical organization. I believe that through reflection, compassion, and care driven leadership, we can rebuild trust and become better stewards for the student and the family we serve. Thank you for having me today.